Grit is the ability to persevere through challenges despite odds being against you. What that means is your ability to tolerate stress, go through difficult things, and be able to overcome them is considered grit. So your ability to tolerate all those things and overcome them help you develop your grit. And why and where would you want to use this, and how is this applied? Well, the thing is, it can be used anywhere. Your ability to have higher grit translates to your ability to tolerate life stressors, whether it be in the weight room, whether it be in a work environment, whether it's in home, whether it's just internal battles that you've got going on, whatever it is, you're always going to need grit, and you're always going to want to take it with you. Now, how do we develop it and how do we get better at it? Well, that's what I'm going to share with you today in 3 different ways. Let's begin with the first thing that's super important to understand. So number 1 is your internal dialogue. Your internal dialogue is something that you use to describe how you are, who you are, what you are, and all the other things that go into you as a person. And so if your internal dialogue is associated or developed on low self-esteem, low self-worth, and doom and gloom, it's going to be hard for you to develop your grit. Now, the reason for that is because if you're looking at yourself in a lower standard, right? If you are thinking of yourself as less than or unable to or dumb, stupid, whatever list you're giving yourself that's talking about yourself in a negative way, what that does to you is it defeats your ability to develop higher grit, because you're always going to tell yourself, I'm not enough, I'm not good, and the list can go on, right? And so your ability to talk about yourself in a positive way, where you're uplifting yourself and not going into this negative dialogue that perceives you in the light as the worst, or you're unable to do certain things, it's going to set you back. And so developing this self-talk with internal dialogue that's building you up is going to help you define and develop your grit, because you're understanding yourself in a different manner. You're developing higher self-esteem. You're developing higher self-worth. And what that translates to is a better, stronger person who has the ability to grow and develop their grit. Now, think about it this way. You're learning something new. Somebody who has an internal dialogue that's not working for them is going to say, you're too dumb, or why even bother trying? You're not going to get it right the first time, so it's worthless to even try to do something new, right? That's not going to help you. However, if you change the dialogue and change the way that you're perceiving it, what you can do with it is change it so it's working for you. So let's say, same context, you're trying something new. Hey, I'm somebody who's learning to do something new. I am somebody who is putting myself out there to feel vulnerable, to do something new, and I might feel dumb in the beginning because it's new. I shouldn't know what I'm doing because I've never experienced this before. So I'm going to be able to learn and develop this in time, just not right away. The two really make a big difference, right? One's defeating, one's uplifting. Go with the one that's uplifting. Number 2 is mindset. Your mindset needs to be a growth mindset. Now, when I say growth mindset, what I mean is your ability to keep growing, learning, and continuing to explore new avenues through curiosity. If your mindset is set on something that is determined already, or it's done, this is it, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, you're going to have a hard time developing your grit, because you're used to telling yourself that something good will not come out of this, or you're unable to grow because of these outside factors and whatever else may come to mind that limits your ability to expand. When you come into this with a growth mindset of saying, hey, right now my grit may not be where it is, but I do want to develop it and I do want to get better at it, and I'm doing the steps towards it, and I'm starting to make slight subtle changes, that's a type of mentality you want to go into it with, because that mindset will help you continue on. When things get tough, rather than looking at things as defeating or as, well, it's over and done, I shouldn't have started this, that's not going to help you. That limits your ability to grow. Versus, I made a mistake, or this isn't working the way I thought it would. What are some other avenues I can go into to get me to where I want to go, right? So it's looking for opportunities, looking for options, and looking for different ways to continuously grow into the avenue you want to go into. So make sure that when you're going into developing your grit, You have an open mindset that's going to be focused on growth, that'll help you, support you through those moments where it gets challenging, and to just expect that things will get hard. And it's not a determination of, oh, well, it's hard, it's bad, I shouldn't have done this. That's not the case. It's to say, hey, I'm growing, there's going to be challenges, I expect challenges to happen, and if and when they do come, I will think of other ways to find my way through it rather than just feel defeated from it. Number 3, expose yourself to doing difficult things. Now, when I say expose yourself to doing difficult things, I don't mean go and run a marathon if you've never ran before. I'm not asking you to lift 1,000 pounds if you've never lifted 100 pounds, right? So what I mean by exposing yourself to discomfort means find your area of comfort and grow outside of it in discomfort. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be as simple as, I'm somebody who may be struggling with patience, and I want to develop my ability to be better at being patient. So if I'm in the grocery line, rather than doing self-checkout that's open and I can go and just do it right away, I'm going to purposely put myself in a long line so that I can start developing patience, because I have to force myself to wait. Your ability to grow and develop your grit through exposure therapy or just putting yourself in uncomfortable situations helps to show you that, hey, I can do difficult things and it's not going to be detrimental to me, and I'm possible and capable of doing these things. So another example would be if you're somebody who struggles with drinking a bunch of soda, let's say, right? For example, we're drinking 10 sodas a day. Your area of discomfort would be to practice 9 sodas a day. Do that for a week or two, then lower it down, and then find the area that you want to be in. So when you choose to expose yourself to discomfort, it's actually a way to develop grit because you're making the choice yourself to be uncomfortable. And so if you make the choice to be uncomfortable and you practice that in a controlled environment, you're going to grow exponentially. Versus, hey, I was forced by outside factors that I'm not in control of to be in the situation. Now, I don't know how to react, right? But if you practice doing discomforting things very subtly, you develop the ability to tolerate it higher. It goes back to the window of tolerance that I've talked about before. So your ability to tolerate stress or uncomfortable situations becomes higher the more you're exposing yourself to it by choice rather than force, and by subtlety rather than this big thing that you think you have to do. So those are 3 ways that you can help grow and develop your grit. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend, and I'll see you in the next video.